everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Influenza or the flu can affect people very seriously. However, there are some preventive measures anyone can take to reduce the likelihood of catching the virus. We got the latest information from Keck Medicine of USC.
Influenza is a viral illness. It typically causes what many of us refer to as common cold symptoms: sore throat, runny nose, fevers, muscle aches, chills. It can lead to serious illness, including pneumonia and hospitalization in some cases. You catch the flu from other people. If you know that somebody's sick, you can wear a mask and you can get vaccinated with the seasonal influenza virus vaccine. If you get the flu vaccine now, you can protect yourself for the remainder of the flu season. The flu virus went into a bit of a dormancy during COVID because everybody was wearing a mask, everybody was taking precautions, so we had some seasons where the flu virus really wasn't very prominent. Now, we're no longer taking those precautions, and because a lot of us didn't catch the flu in the last few years, some of our immunity to the flu virus has waned. In addition, in recent years, more and more people have decided not to get vaccinated. The flu vaccine is safe and effective. One of the main reasons to get it is it reduces the likelihood that your influenza will be a severe disease. Some people with the flu do get very sick, do end up in the hospital, and do die, unfortunately. It's a more serious virus than maybe some of the other viruses that cause a common cold. If you don't get the flu, you're not going to pass it along to somebody else. You may have somebody in your life, an elderly parent or a young child, who may be more at risk for severe disease. And also you want to be contributing to keeping our society healthy and safe. It's not just for yourself, although it will benefit you to get the flu vaccine, but it's also, to help protect those around you.
The Palisades library was totally destroyed in the wildfire, but that is not going to be the end of their story. With a relief fund to help staff and another to help the recovery of services, the Library Foundation of Los Angeles and LA Public Library are writing the Palisades branch a new chapter.
Well, with all Angelenos, I was watching the news like everyone else, and I was certainly very concerned and watching the progress of the fires, and it wasn't until that morning after that I had learned that the library was a complete loss, and it was just devastating, and it was a loss for everyone who works here. Because libraries are centers of community, they're essential, they serve absolutely everybody. Building that center of community back and building it back as quickly as we can. There is a great sense of urgency in the city to do that.
Within days of the wildfires breaking out, the Library Foundation of Los Angeles created two funds. The first was the Palisades Branch Recovery Fund, and the second was the LAPL Staff Emergency Fund. We realized that there was so much devastation within the Palisades community, so the Palisades Recovery Fund was quickly able to provide frontline staff to offer Wi-Fi, hotspots, laptops, power banks, even services like story time and arts and crafts for people in the community. The LAPL Emergency Staff Fund provides really direct access and resources for the staff and librarians that lost their homes. Within days of setting up both of these funds, we received so much support from really across the nation and internationally. To date, we've raised over $200,000 from over 400 donors.
Our wonderful, dedicated, dear, fabulous staff, they've been through so much, and some even lost their homes and lived in that community. They are now working in different libraries in that area, and in the immediate aftermath of the fire, they were, just like many of our staff throughout the system, were working in the Disaster Recovery Center, helping people in that navigate FEMA and all the other services that they needed. They continue to serve the community. That's the bottom line. They continue to serve the community. One of the things we're so lucky about at the LA Public Library is that we have an outstanding outreach team that is always going beyond the four walls of our libraries and into the community to provide services, to sign people up for library cards, to bring technology to communities, to bring programming, children's activities, story times out into the community. So having that asset is really important when we've suffered a loss of an entire branch library. And we look forward to taking those outreach vehicles, our book bike, our outreach librarians, and other services into the Palisades as that community comes back.
Now to Atwater for the reopening of a playground. With more shade overhead and more play structures, the Chevy Chase playground has upped its game for the younger users of the park.
So today we are here at Chevy Chase Rec Center at the reopening of the playgrounds. We refurbished these. It took a few months to get them up, but from 2 to 5-year-olds and 5 to 12-year-olds, they'll now have new facilities where they can romp around and have a great time.
As you can see, there's new shade structures over these new playgrounds. There's all types of adventurous things for the kids to get involved with. So it's just a great new addition to this gym here in Atwater Village.
We really use the space a lot. The kids love it. My son uses it all. Yeah, he's using the basketball courts, he's using the playground, he uses the skate park, and also the rec center inside for basketball and karate. So we love it here.
Our rec centers are a place where families can come, have a great time, the kids can exercise, parents can get a little break, and so we want to make these hubs as accessible as possible, and so rebuilding them is a priority for our office.
It's a fresh new look for the park. It brightens up this entire complex, and it gives parents a place to bring their kids so they can just expel all that energy that they have. It's just going to be a great asset for this community.
It's great to come here because you know the community is hanging out. There's a lot of other kids from the neighborhood, and the kids know each other. They know each other from their sports. You can just show up here, hit the skate park, so it's really fun.
We just like to invite all of the Atwater community to come out to this amazing facility. We have a number of programs here. We offer a variety of after-school programs, classes, all of these wonderful opportunities for your kids to come and enjoy recreation.
The parks will always be a place where people can come and have a great time, and so they'll continue to be a priority for my office.
LA City's Emergency Management Department has tips to help you prepare for disasters. Los Angeles World Airports launches its 10th season of musical performances at LAX, and the Do Not Drink Water notice has been lifted for the Pacific Palisades. These stories up next on CityBeat.
As spring approaches, the Los Angeles City Emergency Department, or EMD, wants Angelinos to know it's important to be prepared for an emergency. The EMD states that disasters are a matter of when, and you can prepare by documenting your property beforehand and making sure you have adequate insurance coverage. For alerts, warnings, and up-to-date information, sign up for the City of LA's free mass notification system, Notify LA, at emergency.lacity.gov/notifyla. Be prepared for any disaster by creating a checklist for your critical documents and valuables in case of an emergency and for insurance purposes. To find out more information, visit emergency.lacity.gov/newsletters. Los Angeles World Airports, known as LAWA, announced the Winter-Spring 2025 lineup for LAX Presents, a curated music series at Los Angeles International Airport. In partnership with Rum & Humble and Dub Lab, the series is staged in locations across domestic and international terminals and runs through June 2025. According to LAWA, LAX Presents elevates the airport to a thoughtful venue for experimentation and forward-thinking philosophy in the arts. Celebrating its 10th season, LAWA is pleased to host 16 standout artists in a variety of music genres in the first half of this year. For more information, go to lawa.org/news-releases. In a continued effort to lead the recovery from the LA wildfires in the Palisades, Mayor Karen Bass announced the Do Not Drink notice has been lifted as of March 7, 2025. The LA Department of Water and Power, LADWP, worked 7 days a week to flush and test the water pipes, working closely with the state to meet the requirements to safely lift the Do Not Drink notice entirely. This announcement was made with recovery leaders at the city's new Unified Utilities Rebuild Operations Center, where staff works directly with LADWP customers and contractors. Mayor Bass also worked with Governor Gavin Newsom's office to ensure homeowners can access as-built plans and allow the city to automatically reissue permits for homes built in recent years. To find more information, go to mayor.lacity.gov/press.
Throughout her career, Councilmember Eunisses Hernandez has brought a unique perspective to finding solutions for Angelenos. As part of Women's Heritage Month, Hernandez recognizes the importance of women's leadership, both her own and that of others who will follow.
Today is a very special day. Even though we wish it was all the time, today we celebrate.
Women's Heritage Month for me means that we as women are not only uplifted and like we recognize our leadership, but what I've had to learn is that you have what you need already inside of you, because oftentimes the perspectives you bring wouldn't be brought if it wasn't for you. And so stand in your power, stand in the space, and make sure that you hold the door open for others so that other women can follow. There's a few people that I looked up to as a child, like Frida Kahlo, who is a Mexican artist. You know, she's a person who didn't fit into a lot of the boxes that during that time, like, women were forced to be in. But the main person I looked up to is my mom. She's someone who motivated me to seek justice for communities that don't have a voice. And I hope one day I can fill her shoes. Growing up, I played basketball in high school, and I did track and field in high school and college. I was a hammer thrower. And one of my coaches was Kara Heads, who was one of the first women to compete in Olympic weightlifting for the United States. And she trained me one of my years when I was doing track.
It takes teamwork. It takes a lot of people to make this happen. So I hope you all see that there's people that are committed to making this work, to giving more people access.
For me, a lot of the work that I've done, not only as a community advocate, but here is try to make sure that we can support organizations that are doing the work to support women, trans women, gender health, other services, getting people housed. And for me, that's a priority.
This is a win-win for everybody.
I feel incredibly honored to be a part of a moment in time in history where the council is a majority women. We know we have different perspectives, different values, but we are very collaborative and we'll work with each other. And I think that's really important to note, but also to sit with, right? Because there are other women that are gonna come behind us. We wanna make sure that we can make room for all of them. And so it's heavy responsibility. My message to people who are thinking about running for office, particularly women, don't be afraid. This is a new time. So do it, lánzate, build a community, and it's gonna be hard, but you can do it.
From being on LA's Youth Council to taking her own council seat, and from being a cheerleader in school to being a cheerleader for others, Councilmember Imelda Padilla knows that it's never too soon to get involved. As part of Women's Heritage Month, Padilla encourages others to do the same.
To me, Women's Heritage Month is a time where we remember and recognize those who helped pave the way for those of us who are in spaces where once upon a time women were not necessarily at the table. And that's why people like me are in places like this now. I had a lot of great teachers. In high school, I had teachers that very much encouraged me to go to college. Some CD6 pride in the house. I was very active with cheerleading and track meet, and I was very active with extracurricular activities. One of the activities that I used to do after school when I was in high school was part of the Olivia Mitchell LA Youth Council. It's named that, but I was actually there when she was a staffer and running it. So I've known Miss Olivia Mitchell for a long time, and I learned a lot about the city there, and I also found my voice in being able to talk about how I perceive issues in my community. One of my favorite parts about becoming a council member at this time in history is that we are close to half women. The most exciting part is that we all have very different backgrounds, and I feel like we're such a reflection of the communities that we represent. So voters really chose somebody that embodies their district. We bring that perspective of our communities and our own individual stories, and we do definitely collaborate a lot more when it comes to things that we don't necessarily agree on. So it's refreshing, it feels a little less intimidating. It very much feels like we're a group that's ready to get stuff done and challenge old norms. My advice to anyone who is considering running for public office is that it's never too early to start. Pick your passion, pick your issues, and start to build your base.
LA's public library is bigger than buildings and so much more than books. As it looks to the future, City Librarian John Szabo spoke to Stacy Lieberman of the Library Foundation of Los Angeles to discuss how the library can continue to support every Angelino's story.
We're here at Central Library for a really interesting program called Beyond the Stacks, the Library of the Future, where the city librarian John Szabo and I will be in conversation about the importance of our libraries in civic life and the role they play in inspiring Angelinos and providing the resources they need, and also responding to what's needed in the future.
I want Angelinos to know that their public library system is dynamic. It is constantly evolving. All of the things that they expect from their public library, all of those warm, fuzzy things that they might remember from their childhood about libraries, still happen in our central library and our 72 branches across the city.
So the Beyond the Stacks event today brings together a lot of different stakeholders for the library and just general library lovers. We're really excited for them to learn more about the incredible and impactful work that the library is doing. When we think about what we can do, we always think about how libraries are bigger than buildings and more than just books.
There's so much to talk about. I think the important role that libraries play in digital equity, the fact that we check out laptops and mobile Wi-Fi hotspots through our Tech2Go program, all of the work that we do serving teens and young people with Teens Leading Change, which is entirely funded by the Library Foundation, all of the programs that we have around early childhood literacy with toddlers, our Read Baby Read program, which is our effort to establish a relationship as early as we possibly can with young Angelinos, providing books and resources to parents with newborns. All of the services that the library provides to Los Angeles' immigrant communities, helping people take that first step on the path to citizenship, our exhibitions, and also I hope that they'll know that we're a caretaker of the history of Los Angeles, because we want the library to be a place for everyone's stories and a place where those stories are preserved as well.
There was a lot of really great information shared at today's forum, at today's panel. It was very fascinating to me because I once again was brought back to the sentiment of, I had no idea the library did this. So for everyone who attended today, I hope that their main takeaway is that the library is continuing to be active in the community, that they can be reassured that regardless of whatever social political upheaval is currently going on in the country and the world, that there are hubs of people, good people, who are willing to help out.
For those who couldn't attend in person, the program will be available online, and they too can be inspired about all that the Central Library and all of the Los Angeles Public Library branches do in our city.
A recent event at City Hall shone a spotlight on the community champions who are making a difference every day. LA Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, Councilmember Curran Price, and Councilwoman Heather Hutt came together to honor this legacy of community in African American history.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't wait, right? I can't hear you. We're at the forecourt celebrating African American Parent Month. This is a culmination celebration that we're having right here at City Hall. It's so exciting to be here celebrating community champions who are doing a good job in our communities.
We wanted to honor some folks in our community that do the work every day, building and making community. Let's welcome Candy Rochelle Lewis.
It is always wonderful to be acknowledged because we do this work from our heart. But when the community that we serve acknowledges the work that we do, it is such a blessing.
It's my honor to recognize Fathers of the Community and their remarkable nonprofit organization.
It's an actual honor to be honored by the city. And knowing that we're a private organization, like a ministry, it's big for our ministers that work with us. And they can tell their kids, I'm part of that.
Well, we got food from District 8, District 9, and District 10. A real smorgasbord, if you will. Soul food, Caribbean food, vegan food.
To see all of the beauty of this event, the movement, the music, also the food and the vendors that were here. This was an amazing experience.
We are honoring some of our community leaders. They're role models for our youth and a source of strength for families in South LA.
We have a community food ministry. We have been providing food for the community for about 2.5+ years.
All of us need to get together and do something for the people that's suffering. That's what we need to do. If you can't feed 100 people, at least feed one.
People realize that everything that we do impacts everyone in this whole country.
In this week's featured story, honoring the first Black Council President, Herb Wesson. Mayor Bass, Council President Harris Dawson, and council members, past and present, came together to unveil the Herb J. Wesson Jr. steps on the south side of City Hall.
When I began to be a public servant, it wasn't about this. I appreciate it, but it wasn't about this. I wanted to be a good man, and I wanted to do my share to make everyone's life better.
We just celebrated Herb Wesson Jr. as the first Black council president here in our great city of Los Angeles.
We get to name those stairs, those just historical stairs. At so many press conferences, so many deep conversations have been had where impact happens. It's only fitting that those stairs be named after Herb Wesson Jr.
When you're sitting in your seat at the council, sometimes you get a tap on the shoulder and somebody whispers in your ear, Council President would like to see you on the South Steps. And people sometimes are kind to the Council President. They say, well, that's where, they go and they work things out. I'm gonna just tell all of you how it really is. When you go to the steps, that's where the Council President told you how it was gonna be.
It's really hard for me to articulate why I'm here today. I cannot believe that steps leading into City Hall have been named after me.
While you were a member of the council, you led the minimum wage fight, the bid for the Olympics. You were a key part of the leadership for that. Leading the bond measure HHH, which led to 10,000 units of housing. Congratulations, Herb. Very, very well deserved. Thank you.
I want little black boys and little Latino girls to walk up and look at that plaque on those steps and say, not only can I do that, I can have a bigger plaque. God bless you all. This is the greatest honor I've ever had in my life.
this week's things to do, enjoy the rescheduled Lunar New Year Golden Dragon Parade. Hear from author Keith Boykin at El Pueblo, and take part in a community cleanup with some council members. All this up next on Things to Do.
Join LA City's Department of Cultural Affairs and the Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles to celebrate the Lunar New Year at the Golden Dragon Parade. Due to the wildfires, the parade was postponed from January and now takes place on Saturday, March 22nd at 1 p.m. Spectators can enjoy all the festivities with live performances, music groups, dance troupes, and, of course, the traditional lion dance. The 126th Golden Dragon Parade begins at Hill and Temple Street, and with traffic diversions in place, using public transportation is advised. Celebrate the Year of the Snake at the 126th Golden Dragon Parade on Saturday, March 22nd, beginning at 1 p.m. For more information, visit lachinesechamber.org. The El Pueblo Park Association presents an exclusive book talk with Keith Boykin on Saturday, March 22nd. Boykin is a New York Times best-selling author, CNN political commentator, and former White House aide to President Clinton. His latest book is Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race? 25 Arguments That Won't Go Away. The author's conversation will explore the themes of race, history, and belonging, and Boykin will also be signing copies of his book. Please RSVP for your spot before heading to Pico House in El Pueblo, the birthplace of Los Angeles, for Book Talk with Keith Boykin on Saturday, March 22nd at 12 p.m. For more information, visit elpueblo.lacity.gov/events. Council members Eunisses Hernandez and Isabel Jurado invite you to join them as they host a community cleanup event on Daly Street on Saturday morning, March 22nd. Help keep the neighborhood clean and connect with other community members during this volunteer event. All participants will be provided with the tools they need to clean, along with protective masks to wear. They will also get water and snacks during the event. Meet at Daly Street for this community cleanup event on Saturday, March 22nd, beginning at 9 a.m. For more information, visit cd1.lacity.gov/events. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's all for this week. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you can watch us online anytime at lacityview.org, and we're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.